Howdy y'all, today is November 1st. I hope everyone had a happy and safe Halloween yesterday. I'm a little late with chickens carving pumpkins, so they're gonna get started on that today. I'll give you an update on that and see how they're doing here in maybe an hour or so. It's a little breezy out today, but hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I've been out in the garden picking a bunch of stuff just left over from the garden. They're just filling up wagons, and I'll slowly feed those to the animals over the course of the next week or two. Right now, just got through the watermelon and pumpkin, so a couple wagons full of that, which is nice. I also had a neighbor, you can't see it, but I had a neighbor bring over some pumpkins, so that was nice, thank you. I also had a friend stop by and drop off a couple cool things, which I can show you guys, but one is an owl to help deter hawks, as well as some decoy turkeys, so I'll show you out there. But also thank you for the hoses too, he dropped those off. So anyways, I'm about to get on chores, get the chickens out there fed. I've already done the pigs, and then clean up, go get warm. Looks pretty good. Can you see my turkeys out there? They blew in the wind, which is pretty cool, so it makes them look a little more lifelike. Got a chicken on top of the coop, which I don't appreciate, but they're gonna do what they're gonna do there. But yeah, the friend that dropped those off said that also helps to deter hawks, so anything helps with that, because I have had a little bit of an issue with that this year. There's been a few birds that have been picked off, and probably more that I haven't noticed that just went missing. So the owl out there, you probably really can't see it from here, but it's on top of that white bucket out there by that mound of dirt. I'll get a close-up of that. That's pretty cool. The pigs are definitely enjoying their pumpkins. Get right in there. I think they've had, I don't know how many, 4 already today. That's the good stuff inside there. Now let's see about these pumpkins. How you doing, chickens? Looking pretty creepy. All right, see 2 eyes and a nose, not much on a mouth. Maybe 2 eyes and some dimples. We'll go with that. They did a lot of freestyling, so they had some fun there. A lot of little holes elsewhere, but they're happily enjoying it. And this pumpkin here, let's see, you got a big old hole. They were really liking it. All right, chickens. Glad y'all Had fun. You tried, but not real hard on the carving part. So here's the owl out here. It looks really good. It's got swivel heads, so in the breeze, it's kind of moving. Looks real good. There's some sand in there that helps keep him down. I think it's better to keep it away from the chickens though, because the chickens were actually afraid of it, which is a good thing because it looks realistic enough that, you know, at least chickens are afraid, so hopefully a hawk will be afraid. But I'll probably move this guy around so he's not always in the same spot. But I think that should help out. And then the turkeys here. I've never heard of turkeys deterring hawks, but I know they deter, you know, things like geese and stuff. I don't have a problem with them. But you can loosen those so they spin a little better in the wind, make it look good. The good thing about these is that the chickens aren't scared of them, so I could put them anywhere. I could even, you know, put it in there and they'd be all right. But I was joking around with my friend that brought these and said, you know, I might be able to get rid of hawks or deter them, but I might come in, you know, tomorrow morning and this head will be chewed off because a coyote decided to come around because he saw some turkeys. So who knows, but it can't hurt to try. I may have spoke too soon on the not being afraid of those turkeys out there. Got a rooster that's not happy and a couple hens wondering what the heck it is. They'll probably get used to it though and be all right. Howdy y'all, today is November 2nd. Got a really nice sunset going on. I missed the majority of it because I was working on chores, but so pretty with the corn still up. Currently working on moving some stuff. With the time change, I kind of threw things off, but the animals are just fine. Getting back into a new little routine here. Now I know I have a rooster running around. I call him ugly. He's never been able to grow a tail. He's got a bad eye. He just looks rough. But I think he spent the night out yesterday because he somehow got out during chores. Tried to get him to go back in. He was being stupid and didn't want to go under the net and just ran completely in the opposite direction. So I guess he never made it back in because he was still out running around today. Last I saw him, he was in the pig pen. So I kind of want to look around for him and see if I can find him, grab him, and throw him in. At this point, it's so dark. Might need to start looking up on top. Oh, there he is. Y'all see him there? I might wait till it gets just a little darker and I snag him. Because that is a bad spot. He would definitely get eaten by something. Electric fence is on, so I'm going to have to turn that off. But mental note, he's hiding right there. So that way I can grab him here in maybe 10 minutes. I got really lucky just looking over and seeing him there. I thought that would be a bit more of a fight to find him, but thank goodness he's on the edge. That should make it a little easier to grab him. While we wait, my dad was here earlier today. He worked on one of the coops. He got one more completely plasticed up, so that's really cool. So at this point, if I had to, if it snowed tomorrow, I could put away, let's see, 32 to 36 chickens, and they're completely set to go. So still have 3 more coops to work on, but at least 2 are ready to go at this point. But while my dad was there, he worked on some lights for the barn as far as Christmas lights go. So let me plug them in and show you. Yeah, those look pretty good. I like that. We need just a few more strands just to get all the way around, but at least the front's done. But the other side of the barn looks the same, kind of just ran out. So should be able to wrap it around with another couple strands there. But it was kind of a bit of a challenge, at least we thought it would be, to get the lights on the pole barn because I didn't think regular clips would work. So I had ordered some magnetic clips that you put on each light so that way they would stick to the metal because I thought we would be, you know, clipping on the actual roof, but there just so happened to be a little slot there with some grooves where the clips happened to pop in. So Hopefully it holds up with the wind out here. This will be a bit of a trial and error, but I like it. It looks good. Let's unplug this fence and go catch a rooster. I have a feeling I could be chasing this thing through the woods and it's gonna be getting dark. I'm really hoping I can just reach to that fence and grab him off that log. That was pretty easy after all. I can't remember what eye was bad on him, but I thought it was his left. Nope, it was your right, but either way, he was still good. So let's go get him put up. And he's back. Looks like the chickens knocked their food over in there, so that's a little annoying, but if he doesn't figure it out from here, I don't know what to tell him. Howdy out, today is November 4th. I'm working on chores right now, just getting the coops moved. About to do this one. But Ugly did at least make it back into the coop the other night, so hopefully he doesn't get out again. It actually was his left eye that was bad. He had both of them kind of open pretty good the other day, so he can see out of it, but not as good, that's for sure. Since it's not windy, it's also a great time to start a fire and start burning up some of my plants from the garden. You can always tell exactly where the chickens were. You can see that hard cut line right there. Also, another interesting thing is everything on the right, see how green it is versus on the left over here, it's really light green. The chickens have been here all summer. They started that way, went back that way, and now they're coming up this way. So all this side has been fertilized really well. Over here, you got that light green. There's been no nitrogen put down from the chickens over there. So they're gonna slowly make their way back up. I'll put them up once we get the first snow or just a really nasty day. But I like keeping them out as long as possible. Man, that sunset is beautiful, you guys. And then the full moon behind me, beautiful, beautiful. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get them to turn around and go back down before the weather turns and gets too bad. But I mean, looking at the forecast, it's not too bad all the way through mid-November. So fingers crossed it stays nice. Every time I turn around, it just gets more beautiful. It looks a little more orange in the picture, but actually it's quite pink. Wow. It's already getting dark and it is only 5:45. Ugh. Not a fan of the time change, but oh well. That full moon, now it's getting darker, is getting a lot brighter. Beautiful. Howdy up, today is November 6th. It's really weird to think, but a week from today, these guys are going in. So they don't have too much longer. They look really good. I think Brick there is probably the chunkiest pig. They all look really good. I'm gonna miss these guys, but they look very tasty. The cornfield behind me is finally down, so now we just got wide open views once again. It's in the high 60s right now, a really light breeze. Yesterday was actually warmer, it hit 70 degrees, but there was so much wind, it just made it really cold. But today is just perfect weather, so it's gonna be a bit of a shock this weekend. We have a couple of cold fronts moving through, so I think Sunday we're looking at some freezing rain, and there is a snow potential. I think that's more for the northern portion of the state. I doubt we see much snow, and we might get a couple little flakes, but I don't think that's gonna be much. So we've got some lows in the 20s coming up. It's not gonna be nice. Howdy, yeah. Today is November 7th, breezy, but it feels amazing out. I was out picking some of my loofah that had turned brown. Supposedly that means they've dried out, but it's been so cold and it has been a little damp that some are starting to rot. That one's completely peeled over there and it's kind of wet and squishy. So I think I need to pick everything, even the green gourds, get them in and get them drying so that way they're not rotting on me. I knew I had a nice Loofah Harvest, but I never expected to be this much. I'm not even down one row all the way, so I have to get on the other side even. So it'll probably be 2 complete wagonfuls. So that's pretty exciting. You can see some were getting really close to drying here. You got some nice brown ones, but yeah, I'm a little worried on the green ones. I've never dried them down before, but they have a lot of moisture in there. So what I think I'm gonna do is crank the heat in the room upstairs. I don't know how I'm gonna keep the humidity down with all these things up there, but we'll kind of monitor it, see what happens, and hopefully get all these dried out so we have tons of loofah. We have another heaping helping of loofah. This is the last of them, so 2 full wagon loads, which is very cool. I'm already out of table space upstairs, so I don't know how I'm gonna make it work, but I have an idea. I like the pallets because they're little slots so you can get some more air underneath the gourds. If I put them on this table, it's just gonna stay damp underneath. So what I'm thinking is I'll come out here, grab some crates, we'll flip them upside down, and then lay the gourds on top of that. So that way they still get plenty of air underneath. A total of 175 loofah. So that was a great harvest. I put some under the table there, and then also there's another table over here. So I'm gonna just close the door, heat it up. I'll probably put a fan in here just to keep some air moving, and it's probably gonna take a while. I think I'll play around with a couple gourds. Some people will throw them in a dryer, in the oven, slice them, rinse them. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So I have some that I just like to play with and see what I like. But I think since I have so many of them, 175, I'll probably just wind up leaving them in here and hoping that they dry out naturally in here and work. So we'll see how it goes, but that's pretty exciting. It's really not bad. It's already 61 in here. Let's go up to 70, and then let me go grab a fan and get it rolling. This number over here on the left, that's what's inside the room. This is outside, just the uppers of the barn. So it'll be interesting to see what those look like. Back out at the farm now. Do you guys remember, I think it was last week's video, I mentioned a potential rat or weasel or something digging in my barn? Well, there's some more holes, bigger holes, weird stuff. So earlier, my dad was here. We set a rat trap and just some other stuff around to see if we can catch it. I also brought a trail cam, so in case we didn't catch it already. It's about 11 o'clock, I think. So we can at least set the trail cam up and see what it is. Nothing. We'll set up the trail cam and wait till tomorrow.